Good morning, everyone. My name is Brijender Singh, and I am the faculty here at Vajiram for the ethics paper and the essay paper. Now, today we are arriving at the end of May, and sometime soon the prelims are going to be conducted, after which the mains for 2024 are going to commence on the 20th of September. A lot of students who are preparing for the civil services exam in the first year of the preparation initially focus only upon the prelims, largely upon the prelims, and they prepare their optional alongside. One major area that they leave out is the essay paper, and their belief is very simple, to some extent logical also, that at the moment, let me prepare for my prelims, I'll read the newspapers alongside, I will come across many different subjects, read some books, and after my prelims, I'll pick up my preparation for the essay paper. Now, the problem is that the essay paper, number one, is a full 250 mark paper. Second concern over here is that in the essay paper, the marks can be very high, 150, 160, 135, marks can be anywhere. Third and most importantly, this is a paper which requires an orientation slightly different from an optional paper or from a GS paper. The way that you write an answer, a 150 word answer, a 250 word answer is very different in comparison to how you write an essay that is supposed to last 1200 words. So here at Vajiram, we're making a small series, just about 5 videos or so. This is the first one, where I'll briefly share with you an overview of what exactly this paper is about, why some students are able to score well, why some students, despite putting in efforts, are not able to get the marks that they deserve. Why is it that some people work very hard, read a lot, write very well, and yet in the essay paper, they end up with a score which is somewhere between 105 to, let's say, 115. We would want to score much higher than that. First, some basics about this paper. The essay paper, if you take a look at it, the utility of the essay paper can be put forth in 4 simple points. Number one, like any optional paper, like any GS paper, this is a full 250 mark paper. It's a very scoring paper, which is why if a student does well, the final marks that you get in the mains added to your interview score can make a huge difference between you and the rest of the competition. Second, the input-output ratio in the essay paper is very positive. Very little input and very high output. In the sense that the amount of studies that you have to do, the amount of preparation that you have to do is relatively limited. Which does not mean that you start very late, which does not mean that you do it only after your prelims or at the last moment. It means that getting the grasp of this paper, how to write an effective essay, will come in a relatively short span of time. Limited effort, but the scores can be extremely high. Third, the essay paper is a paper which always is a game changer in the final result. Any person who's got a good rank, 2023, 22, 21, go back as many years as you want, you realize that students who are getting good ranks, who are getting a good score in the mains, are invariably doing well, first in the essay paper and second in the ethics paper. In these 2 papers, if you're able to get a score which is 50-55%, the rest of your mains, any GS paper that goes off below expectations, will be compensated by these 2. Fourth and most importantly, which you'll realize the day you pass your prelims, and when you know that you're writing your mains, the essay paper sets the tone for the mains exam. The pattern of the mains, the scheduling of the mains is very simple and very standard. Friday, the first day that it starts, you have your essay paper. Saturday, you have GS1 and GS2. Sunday, you have GS3 and GS4. Then you get a break of about a week. Then you come back for your language paper and your optional. Now, after months of preparation, for some students after years of preparation, the first time that they will sit down to write the exam is going to be on this Friday. That morning, if your 2 essays go off well, when you sit down to write, if you think that you've got content ready in your mind, if you think you're writing well, if you think you got 5 minutes to review your essays after writing, it gives you a sense of confidence. And that tone, that optimism will carry you for the rest also. If you note, Saturday you have to write 2 full papers, 3 hours each. Sunday you have to write another 2 full papers, 3 hours each. Then you got literally 5 days in which you have to revise your entire optional 2 papers. But if you're feeling good about the beginning of your exam, the rest of the exam invariably should go off well. which is why this paper needs to be given a little more attention than students unfortunately usually give. Now, when it comes to students, regular GS students that I interact with, students who come to me individually and ask me questions, when it comes to the essay paper, there are 5 common problems that I've seen with them. First, and what should I say, the first and the biggest mistake is a lack of preparation. A student typically will come up and will say that, sir, I am in so-and-so batch. I have written the essay. I know that you take essays over here. Could you please check my essay? I'll take it home. I'll evaluate it. Now, when a student puts in the effort to write 1200 words, they expect a good score. Unfortunately, their content is not up to the mark. What they're writing is very repetitive. What they're writing is not really adding up. So I don't know what they were expecting, but many of these students get a score between 25 to 45, a low score, and they immediately get disheartened. They say, no, sir, I think your evaluation is very strict. I believe that, I deserve a little more marks than this. Please understand, if this is the first essay that you've written, first time that you've ever written, you cannot magically expect a score of 60 or 70. It will take time. Question that the student should be asking is that if there is something lacking in my preparation, then what exactly is lacking? What do I need to do? What do I need to read? What do I need to change in my writing through which I can improve my marks here? Second, many students, we say that you are lacking preparation, they go back home, some of them, I won't say all, but some of them go back home, they study, they go through their notes, they try to collect content from different areas, and then they try to write again. But they say that, sir, there are potentially so many essay topics that I don't know how to prepare. I could ask you something about the media. How is the media a threat to democracy? I could ask you about the impact of social media. I could ask you about the impact of technology in social media. I can ask you about international relations. I can ask you about agriculture. I can ask you a philosophical essay. How exactly do I tailor my content? Do I modify my content to write potentially innumerable essays? Which is why number 2, what students need, what they forget is that they will need essay-specific content. Not information, not knowledge, but content that can be used, ready-made content that can be used in an essay. Third, and a very major problem, students for some reason tell themselves that I have a lot of work to do. I have GS classes to attend, I have optional classes to attend, I have some test series to sit for, and of course there are other responsibilities also. Some people are working, some people are pursuing a higher education. They say that, sir, I just don't have time. Honestly speaking, very honestly, very truthfully, every single student, no matter what their other responsibilities, can afford to write 1 or 2 essays every single month. I'm not even being very ambitious, just 1 or 2 essays every single month. Unfortunately, students don't do that. Even when they want to, I've seen students, even when they want to, very often the problem that they face is what we call a writer's block. A student has a topic in front of him, he understands the topic, he has some thoughts in his mind, he knows what he's going to write. The moment he puts pen on paper, the first sentence does not come. The rest of the essay, he knows that once the first sentence has been written, this is how I'll develop my essay. The first sentence he's not able to write. If he writes the first sentence, finishes the first paragraph, the second paragraph again remains equally challenging. And this then results in putting in literally no practice. I keep giving myself excuses and I keep telling myself that after I have studied, after I finished my GS, after 1 year of preparation is over, that will be adequate time for me to focus on the essay paper. Fourth, some students, and again I would put few students in this category, some students write. No matter what they write, whether they write well, whether they write badly, when you motivate them a little bit, give them a pep talk, they will write. Problem is, after writing, they don't have evaluation. They don't get any feedback. If I write, I've seen students here at Vajiram, some of them come from a literature background. And students have this misconception that if a student has done, let's say, a bachelor's in English or a master's in English, this student will be able to write very well. They'll be able to write very well, no doubt. Their command over the language should be better. But that does not mean that they will write a good essay. Many of these students, what they do is, they repeat the same thought over and over and again. They use very big words. They use metaphors. They use rhetorical statements. But when you look at the essay from a distance, it is not really adding up. It is not really creating an impact. to learn where you are going wrong, to learn how minor changes can bring about an improvement in your writing, you will need evaluation, a reliable evaluator, and you will need their feedback. Now, for some students, the advantage is, and the most reliable evaluator that you can get is a person who's a teacher. But no matter where you are studying, you could be in Vajiram, could be somewhere else, maybe preparing at home, a teacher might not always have time to give you the time and attention, the serious time and attention that your essay and your writing deserves. This is something that many students struggle with. And because of these four problems, like I was saying earlier also, many students unfortunately make the fundamental mistake of starting very late. In this year, I think in Vajiram, the GS batches, first set of batches started in February. I'm already here towards the end of May. And even now, I can assure you in the last, 4 odd months, many students would have not written even one page. If you're not comfortable writing now, you miraculously will not become comfortable later. If I don't know who you are, I don't know which of these categories you fall into, but if your mistake falls into any of these categories, please identify that and please start working on that. How you work on that, again, I'll explain to you in the course of our discussion. Along with this, the basic understanding of the essay paper, let me also explain to you the mandate of the UPSC. The essay paper contains 2 sections. Each section contains 4 topics. Students have to choose one topic from each of the section. Total time for the paper is 3 hours, and the length of an essay is expected to be 1000 to 1200 words. Many students ask me that, sir, on an A4 size sheet, how long will the essay become? Depending upon your handwriting, somewhere between 10 to 12 pages. Roughly 10 to 12 pages would be one essay. In the notification, this is what the UPSC says. The UPSC says that candidates are expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay and to arrange their ideas in an orderly fashion. It also says that credit will be given for effective and exact expression. This is the only thing that is written in the notification as far as the essay paper is concerned. But these 3 small points, keep to the subject. Number 2, arrange your ideas in an orderly manner. And number 3, effective and exact expression. Don't write too much, don't be repetitive, exact and effective expression. These 3 points will become the criteria for evaluating your essay. Any person who's evaluating will keep in mind these 3 basic mandates that are given by the UPSC. Now, this is what your evaluator will focus on. This is what a reader will focus on. What are you supposed to focus on? You are supposed to understand what each of these 3 pointers here mean. When the UPSC says keep to the subject, it means that you will focus on the topic, do not digress from there. So if we say that a biased media is a threat to democracy, this topic was asked a few years back. If we say a biased media is a threat to democracy, you cannot explain to me how a biased media is bad for the country alone. You have to talk about a democracy. So if you give me an example of a country like China, or if you give me an example of a biased media in a country like North Korea, I will not accept that content because neither of the 2 countries is democratic. Second, when we say that you arrange your ideas in an orderly manner, orderly fashion, this depends upon, and this is a major problem with students, the flow. If you're writing, let's say, 6 paragraphs, 8 paragraphs, 10 paragraphs in your essay, how will one paragraph lead to the other? That chain of thought that you're creating, that continuity of thought that you're creating, how will you link the 2? If you're able to create a good link, if you're able to create a smooth link, we'll say that yes, in a very orderly manner, your essay has been presented. Third, most importantly, effective and exact expression. Now, what does effective and exact depend upon? 5 criteria. Number 1, there should be clarity in your content. You should be sure about what you're trying to say. Second, there should be depth in your content. Many students have one fundamental problem. In writing essays, they write example after example. You read one paragraph after the other. They'll give you very good examples. There is no thought. An example is used to prove a point. It is not a point by itself. So what is the point that you're going to make? Those points are what we call, what lead to the depth in your content. Third, there must be diversity. Each of these points in subsequent videos, I'll explain to you in a slightly more elaborate manner. For now, let me just give you the overview. Third, there is diversity in your content. So where does diversity come from? You could be talking about something from a historical point of view. You could be looking at an essay from an economic dimension. You could be looking at a particular topic from the perspective of society. You could be looking at a particular topic from the perspective of technology, from the perspective of environment, and so on. I'm sure you already know about all of this. But in your essay, at least 4, 5, 6 different dimensions, different perspectives must be presented, must be discussed. If you're able to do that, again, your essay becomes richer in quality. Fourth, prescriptive value. In the last few years, and I'm sure you know about this, philosophical essays, or what students call quote-based essays, are becoming more and more common. Now, these quote-based essays, if you look at them a little carefully, you will realize that they're fundamentally based on human life. They're fundamentally based on human learning, on our understanding of our existence. Many of them point at the problems that humanity has faced on an individual level, on a collective level, and you are expected to give your thoughts on this. Now, whoever we are, there is always scope for improvement. What we were 50 years back, what we were 100 years back. 100 years back, flying in an aeroplane would have been unimaginable. And today we take flights without thinking twice. So what prescription, what suggestion, what advice can you give so that the problems of the past can be overcome and we can look at a brighter future, a better future? And fifth, finally, of course, a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of emphasis will be placed on language and grammar. Again, students who want to delay their preparation, want to delay their work, forget everything else, they focus only on this point. This is what a student can work on. The last point will take care of itself. They focus only on language. Should I read Wren and Martin? Should I read a GRE word list? Where can I improve my vocabulary? If you're reading your newspapers regularly, your words, your vocabulary, your grammar, your language will improve. It will take time, but it will improve over a course of time. Okay, so these are some criteria that you will have to keep in mind if you want to write an essay that is effective. Now, the question that comes is, how do I prepare for this? If I have to do all of this, if I want a good score and I want a good rank in my attempt, what should I do? There are two options. Number one, prepare at home. Very honestly, I'll say this, prepare at home. Start collecting content. Start writing essays. Try to get your essays evaluated and so on. This is what I said continuously till 2023. Last year, to be a little honest with you, a couple of boys came to me who said that this is our second attempt now. First attempt in the essay paper, we got, 90 marks, 92 marks, 95 marks. And we tried to prepare, they showed me their notes also. They said that, sir, but somehow we're not getting the hang of it. Second option then is that you please join a course. Since I take the essay course, it's very strange for me to say that you should join an essay course. It's a conflict of interest. But the fact of the matter is, it is a 250 mark paper. For the first couple of years, I was a little sort of embarrassed in telling students that you should join an essay course, it will help you. But then I started realizing that by telling them not to join, I'm doing them an injustice. They will work, they will struggle, they will, try to experiment here and there. But at the end of the day, if it is not yielding result, then all that effort was wasted. Therefore, let me also share the details of the essay course which is coming up now. 23rd of June 2024, we are starting the next essay course here at Vajiram. These are the features. You will find the same features given on the Vajiram website also. If you are thinking about joining this course and if you're thinking about, if you go to the Vajiram website, I would strongly advise you to do one thing. There is an evaluated essay script which they have uploaded on the website in the essay section. Please go through this script carefully. That will help you understand how a typical average student writes, what mistakes they make, why it is important to identify the mistakes, and how those mistakes can be overcome in the future. Alright, but that I will leave up to you if you want to watch it, if you want to go through it. These are the features of the course over here. There are 11 classes. These classes will cover different essay themes. This could be media, this could be science and technology, women-related issues, environment and ecology, and so on. Handouts will be given on each of the themes because I've realized over a period of time, students have to be given content so that they can go through the content and focus on the more important work, which is writing. So that content is given, I'll give you the content myself. Special emphasis I'll give to philosophical and code-based essays. They're very simple, but for some reason, students feel a little uncomfortable with them. So we'll spend a little more time on them. In the class, there'll be mini assignments. In addition to the mini assignments, there will be 6 tests that we'll take, 2 half tests and 4 full length tests, so that you can get practice, especially for those students who are writing the mains this year, so that you get actual practice that you can see whether you are improving over a course of time or not. After the essays, after the test, we'll have discussion, evaluation, of course, on very objective. You will see that with the sample script that I've uploaded there. And after that, if there's any discussion that is needed, then I'm always available. We'll sit with your essay scripts after the test to identify where you might have made a mistake and how you can improve. Right? But before I move on to the second part of these discussions over here, please remember the first point written here. It is a full 250 mark paper. Don't take it lightly. Use it to your advantage in a manner that it gives you a huge advantage, a huge margin over the rest of the competition. Thank you.